All right, everyone, class, fellow YouTubers. Today, I am going to talk about my Titanic-like or Bambi-like interactions with really young girls below the age of 18 while I was well above the age of 18. So, most of these places that were the most open-minded about interacting with young girls below the age of 18 were in the northern states. That's kind of the opposite in the southern states. My theory about this, and I think that other people would agree with this, is that since the growing season is more year-round in the South, and you can grow more pot and more all kinds of drugs, you got more washed-up drug dealers unjustly using children as rule of abuse. And I met this one Mexican drug dealer who was trying to tell me to he was trying to entice me into helping him sell meth. But one thing that he told me was that there's no friends in this business. And I've heard this other drug dealer say that he used to live out in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden he started to make new friends again. You know what I'm saying? And up north, they go by that motto. They treat you with that motto, or they'll just say it. Because I've heard one person say that up in the north, and they know that saying: if you want friends, be friendly. And let's see here. So when I took a ferry boat ride to Alaska, my transfer point, when I was waiting to board a different ferry boat and carry on further north, there was another person that was waiting to board with me, and he worked on the ship. And he didn't beat around the bush when he was talking to me, and he got right to his point. And he said that he took a trip to Peru, and he said in Peru it's normal to interact with children. And that's where Lina Medina is from, the youngest mother in history, which last time I checked is still alive. She conceived a baby at age 4 and had it at age 5. And so I heard that dude in Alaska say what he said, and then years later I found out about Lolita Medina. In the beginning of my travels, when I went because I went from Kansas all the way, as far away from Kansas as I could possibly go in the U.S. without going all the way to Alaska, where it's too cold. I did go there before, but just for temporarily, and I was gonna try to settle down in Maine, but didn't really like it quite so much in Maine. It had its good points and its bad points, but just not my kind of state, if you ask me. New Hampshire, on the other hand, is the best state around. That's a different subject at that. When I was in the state of Maine, because it's not just the northern states, but also the northern states right by the ocean, where there's more balcony people, as the book called Live Your Calling talks about. Now, the first state I tried to settle down in was the state of Maine, in a coastal town called Ellsworth, Maine. I stayed in a shelter there, and you got Ellsworth, Maine, right by the ocean, and you got Acadia Island, which on that island it has what's called the Hinckley sailboat yacht building company. And I was at the shelter, and this is by a kind of a more well-known town called Bar Harbor, in Ellsworth, Maine. In the shelter there that I was staying at, this is like a family shelter, and there can be either males or females or families that stay there. It's all co-ed, you know what I'm saying? And so there was this one family that moved in there, and the dad worked at that yacht building company. He brought over some applications, and they were for that yacht building company, and trying to find the best money shot here. But anyways, one time somebody had a birthday party, and somebody was passing out condoms, and that father that passed out those Hinckley Yacht company applications, and her mother and the wife of him, they had a son and a daughter. No, just a daughter. I was getting two different families mixed up, but so their daughter is like 8 years old, and during that party, and in Maine, sex is not taboo at all, even between the young kids. Okay, because at that birthday party, and this is when I just turned 18, and I'm young and inexperienced in life. I'm not confident. I'm shy. Didn't know much about anything, and so. But anyways, there's this 8-year-old girl that says to somebody else about me, "Hey, I want to eat him with a spoon." And then like a day or so later, because there was this other family, there was this husband and wife, and they had a son and a daughter, and one time the 8-year-old was at one end of the hallway, close to me, and I was close to the dorm I was sleeping in, and at the other end of the hallway, which is not that long, there was a girl that was like, she was like old enough to stand and walk, but still young enough to be in diapers, and that's all she was wearing when she was at the end of that hallway. And the 8-year-old said to that about 3-year-old girl, about me, within earshot of me, because the 8-year-old was close to me. The 8-year-old said to the 3-year-old about me, "Hey, show him your woo-woo." And I looked up on the Urban Dictionary, and you have to go to the back of the section for this for the definition of this word. Woo-woo means pussy or vagina. Okay, so of course, when you live right by the ocean, even if you have not traveled your tail off, you've usually met somebody that has, and especially if you work at a Hinckley Yacht Building Company. Okay, these are not basement people, these are by far balcony people. Also, like when I was in the state of Montana, I was at the Rainbow Gathering. I talked about this in a different video. I was at the Rainbow Gathering. I met this girl that, because I asked her where she was from. She seemed like she was trying to seduce me, which I'm pretty sure she was. And I think she knew what she was doing. I think her mom or her dad taught her to do that, which I'm going to teach my daughter to do that. I will teach her to flash her pussy right in front of the man she's trying to seduce, who's going to be well above 18, and she's going to be well below the age of 18. Ain't no shame in that. It's only sex, people, if it's done right. But anyways, so I asked her where she was from. She said Idaho, Oregon, and I could tell by looking in the face, her face, that she was part from Idaho, because I've been through Idaho as a truck driver. That's how because I got pulled over by a female cop or state trooper for driving on a route when I had too long of a trailer. And but the magical side of her, I could tell, came from her other 50% other genetics, which I know must have came from Oregon, because they seem pretty magical, like pretty magical people in Oregon. In Oregon, they have the highest percentage rates of what is known as sex offenders. Although I've never seen any towns, and I've never seen the state of Oregon at the top of the list of Ashley Madison accounts, that corny website. And so I met this girl in Montana, and she when she left, she went either to Idaho or Oregon. I can't remember which. But so it was like yeah, that's up north. That's up north. Oregon is up north. Idaho is up north, and Oregon is right by the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Now in Montana, after the Rainbow Gathering, when I was at the library, I'm sitting in a chair, and this dad sits in the computer chair next to me, in front of his computer, and his daughter, who's about like I want to be careful not to exaggerate here. So I was at about 5 years old, conservative estimate, maybe a tad bit before 5. You know, and she looked very pretty. She had blonde hair, and I felt those Bambi like vibes while being around her. And then once they left in a short amount of time, there was this other girl that was about 8 years old that sat right next to me. She was pretty in the face too. She was about 8 years old, very pretty in the face, and had this nice, beautiful red hair. And I felt those same Bambi vibes just by being next to her, without any physical contact. That's what you would call, if you ask me, a no contact body high, if you ask me. Okay. So, and then once I was on probation in Montana, I moved into an adult foster care home, and this was in Helena, or East Helena, Montana, that is. And Helena is ranked like number, what is it, 2 or 3? I heard off of the internet to have the most of what they call, it's the top U.S. city, number 2 or number 3, to have the most of what they call sex offenders. Okay. I'm trying to think. So at this adult foster care home that I was staying at in East Helena, I was living with a young girl that was about 4 or 5, maybe about 5 years old, and this other girl that was about like 11 or 12, you know, and the younger girl was like, she was like really skinny and like really short and like a rump, but she was like really pretty in the face. The other girl was like, she was like heavy set, and but anyways, time's running out on this video. This will be number 1 of 2 videos at least about this subject. And I'm trying to think. So I was in Kansas, in Manhattan, Kansas, and I met this girl. Well, we'll cut it off for now. We'll talk about this more in part 2. Want to make sure not to go over my time of 50 minutes till the next episode, part 2. Till next time.